In this tutorial, we're going to bring it all together. So you're going to download a folder and it has a Bring It All Together lesson INDD. This file means it's an InDesign file. It is going to access the links that are in this links folder. We are using Minion Pro font, so this is something that you should already have installed with your Adobe fonts, but they are here if you need it. All right, so let's double click and open our INDD file. What you'll see is text, an image, a vector, text box, and text box. So this tutorial walks you through how you bring together the pieces that you might be manipulating or editing in Photoshop and Illustrator into InDesign. So you should be familiar with your layers panel. Window, layers, can bring it to the front. Rotate down your arrow so that you can see your layers. You might have subgroups of things that are grouped together. I have form and space grouped together. This is what you're going to do. We have a before and an after. We are going to edit this gradient image in Photoshop. We are going to change the vector image in Illustrator. We are going to change the text of the color of the ampersand, and we're going to load in text from a Word document. Let's begin. First, we'll go to links. Window, links, and you'll see I have 3 items linked. Now I can open these items by using the flyout panel, and I can say edit original or edit with. By default, you should probably get Photoshop for an image because Photoshop is the default program from Adobe to manipulate images. So I'll say edit original, and this image will open in Photoshop. All right, what I notice in Photoshop is it's an image, so it's a single layer and it's a locked background. That's fine in this case. I'm going to show you my favorite filter in Photoshop. It is the Camera Raw filter, and it's basically Lightroom built into Photoshop. But what we're going to do in this case is instead of adjusting our light and color, we are going to just in effects, we're going to add grain. So as I move this arrow to the right, you can see my gradient is starting to get this really nice texture grain to it. So we're just going to change the grain to 100 and say okay. All right, so we've manipulated this image. We want it to continue to be linked. When we've manipulated an image and it isn't saved yet, you're going to see an asterisk up at the top. Now I can just say File, Save, which is Command S, okay, and save over the exact same file name because I don't need the original anymore. Now, when I go back to InDesign, what it should do is it should be linked. So without me doing anything, because I changed this file, if I zoom in now, you can see my gradient is now my textured image. So that's a great example of everything coming together and being linked. So next we're going to do a similar thing with our vector. And each of you get to pick a color. So we're going to use the eyedropper tool and pick a color. I'm going to pick a pinkish color. Now what you can see is I actually changed the background of this text box by accident because I had that selected. I want to make sure that I've clicked off and nothing is selected right now. Then I go to Eyedropper and I pick a color from my gradient. But you have to get a color where nothing else is overlapping. Once you've found your color, you're going to double click where the fill is and it will bring up a color picker and you're looking for the hex number. So this is 6 digits and letter combinations. You can click into it and Command C on your keyboard. That's your copy. So now you're going to use your white direct select arrow. grab your ampersand. Okay, so you can double click in or you can go directly to your text tool and try to grab the ampersand. And you're going to click the T. So when it's selected, your T, which is standing for text, and you're going to double click it and go to this hex field and paste in your code. Or if you wrote your code down, you can put it in there. Now we can click off. So basically, you've picked a color from this gradient and you've made your ampersand that color. That's your goal. You're going to want that same hex that we have. So now you can jump to Illustrator. You can use your links and you can say here, edit original. And we're going to make this circle that same color. So we select circle. We know that this is vector because we can see the anchors on each of the four corners here where they're rounded. We double click our fill, paste in our hex, tab so that it actually takes the color and shows it. Then we can say OK. Similar to what we did in Photoshop, we can just say Command Save. It will save over the exact same file. We haven't changed the file name. We flip back to InDesign and it is updated. So now we go back to Illustrator, and this time we're going to manipulate a little bit more with vector. Under your rectangle tool, if you hold and click, you can get to your star tool. And in Illustrator, fill is our solid box, stroke or outline is the outline. So we're going to go to a fill, double click, move your mouse all the way to the top left and keep dragging until you have all Fs. So 6 Fs or all zeros. So that's white. Say OK. Click once in the middle and you will get your star box. So you can say how many points, your radius. You can just say OK with whatever is default. And now you can scale your size. If you hold down Shift on a corner, you can also switch to your left selection tool for your arrow, kind of center it. You can round off, make pointy. You can drag this arrow for how many points you want. So we're going to make a lot of points. We're going to line this up into the center. And I'm going to say Command S on my Mac for saving or File Save. When I come back into InDesign, you will see it didn't update over here, but when I look at my links panel, I get this modified. Double click to update. So I'm going to double click and I now have my updated design. All right, so that is how you update your vector in Illustrator and then it's reflected in InDesign. You update images in Photoshop and it's reflected in InDesign. You can have vector. This is a line. And you can see in InDesign when I select it, it has a fill of none and an outline of black. So we can switch that using our swatches panel. You can get that at Window Swatches, which is under Window Color Swatches. You can also double click the outline. If you don't see white, go ahead and move the radio button up to the H. That will let you get to your top left, all X for white. So your goal is that your outline is white. If your border is higher up in the path, it should be below, but if it isn't in your layers, you can drag your layers and change their stacking order in your layers panel. So next we're going to place text. In your folder, you have a Word document. You're going to open your Word document, copy the first paragraphs, everything until image credit. You can come in to InDesign. You will double click, triple click into your box of text. Select it all and say Command V for paste. And your text should come in and fit. It should be Minion Pro. And the size, if I click to text, we'll be able to see it. Minion Pro Regular 12 with a 14.4 leading. All right, you'll do the same for your photo credit. You'll copy Command C, come into InDesign. You want to click, double click, triple click, and to get all of your text selected, you can click and drag. Command V to paste over it. Your photo credit should be there. Two things to realize here. One, we can grab rulers to help align items. You want to turn rulers on with Command R. You can click in your ruler and drag down until you let go. Okay, so we have it letting go. We're always looking for ways that things align. We want the bottom of our text to align with that pink line or that ruler. If I zoom in, you actually want the bottom of the H or the P to be where it lines up. The descenders, like this bottom part of the Y or the bottom part of the P, can hang below. View, you can say screen mode preview. And here's your design. You have an aligned photo credit with the bottom of a picture. You have text. You've updated a vector image. You've changed vector and InDesign. You've updated an image and you've changed the color of text. And that's really pulling it all together and how you would create a simple design in InDesign.